Well, it's obvious we're not fishing today. We were supposed to go blackfishing, 35-mile-an-hour winds all night. We still have gale warnings out of 63 degrees here in December. We've been getting a lot of letters and emails from you folks, especially the women in the audience. Rich, why don't you show us how you clean fish? Show us the difference in knives. And that's what we're going to be doing today on the fishing line with Artie Horning from the South Shore Fish Market. We're going to show you how to choose the right knife for the right job, how to clean several species of fish, several different ways, so you can enjoy and prepare your catch. So we'll be right back.
All right, folks, it's time for the Northeast Premier Fishing Show, The Fishing Line with Rich Johnson, now in our second decade. The Fishing Line is brought to you by Marine Formula Stable. To prevent the damaging effects of ethanol in your fuel tank, use Marine Formula Stable. And by the Long Island Power Authority. More choice, better service, LIPA. And by the Fishing Report Hotline. 24-hour fishing reports by phone when you need them.
Hey fishermen! For the most comprehensive reports and fishing information on the internet, log on to www.thefishingline.com. Thefishingline.com has fishing reports for boats, surf, freshwater, or party and charter boats for Long Island's tri-state area. Now you can listen to the Fishing Line radio show live on the web, Saturdays at 4 p.m. or see video clips of the TV show. Know where they are, not where they were, with thefishingline.com. What you need to know in fishing, it's www.thefishingline.com.
This is Ed's boat. It costs big bucks.
Yeah.
This is new Marine Formula Sta-Bil ethanol treatment. It costs a few bucks. When Ed fuels up, he doesn't add new Marine Formula Sta-Bil.
Nah.
Too bad, because the ethanol in his fuel caused engine deposits and corrosion. Now it won't start, and repairs are big bucks. Poor Ed. Marine Formula Sta-Bil would prevent that, with twice the corrosion protection, 4 times the cleaners. Now when you fill up and when you store, start with Sta-Bil.
Hey folks, you've been coming to the fishingline.com site for years for the only up-to-the-minute fishing reports on the web. Now get the same great reports 24 hours a day by telephone. That's right, the new Fishing Line report line is up and running, and best of all, it's free. No membership fees, no pay-by-the-minute fees that cost you nothing. A free phone call for the best updated reports 24 hours a day, all by phone. Call 516-977-2088, 516-977-2088.
Hey, Rich. We're here, baby. What's up, buddy? Good. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
You folks remember Artie Horning from this great show we did on that bucktail and the fluke in the back bay, and we gave you a lot of tips.
That was a good time. That was a great time.
That was almost 8 or 9 years ago already, Artie.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
I'm getting a lot of calls and emails and letters from the folks on me. Rich, why don't you show us how to clean fish, and really the big question, the difference in knives, because not one knife can do every single job, and that's what we're doing on today's show, is showing the folks with Artie how to clean fish and knives and knife preparation and taking care of your knives. But knives are a big part of this entire thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, and different knives for different applications, and to fillet a fluke, you would need a particular knife or use a particular knife, and to fillet a round fish like a striped bass or a blackfish, also another knife is applicable. So, I guess to have it done the right way, people should, and a good set of scissors also, and a good scaler, a good scraper.
That's key.
A lot of people like to eat fish whole.
Yep.
And in order to do that, you're going to have to remove the scales. So
that's right. That's right. But knives are a big part of it. So let's go down and show the folks now the different kinds of knives: flatfish knife, roundfish knives, different lengths for different jobs. We'll show them how to do that.
Absolutely.
Artie's main business is the South Shore Fish Market in Island Park, where for 29 years he's brought locally caught fresh seafood to tri-state seafood lovers. Most of the seafood is caught by regional baymen and served to Artie's customers through the fish market or the 3-year-old restaurant on the premises. Artie's Fish Market has been written up in the New York Times and other papers for the high quality and standard of seafood, service, and dedication he and his family bring to the public, and take my word for it, the food is fabulous. Fresh caught, cut, and cooked from his market to your plate.
You know, we're talking already about knives and different knives for different jobs, and one of the first things people have to differentiate from is a flatfish knife versus a roundfish knife. Now, what's the difference?
Generally, the flatfish knives are a longer blade,
Right.
very thin, and you know, basically give you the ability to fillet a flatfish.
And flexible, like, you know, you can...
And very flexible to go
Right.
with the contour of the body of the fish, and basically give you, you know, a nice clean fillet and very, very little resistance to the knife also
Right.
as you're going through the fish.
The roundfish knife?
The roundfish knives are used for like blackfish or striped bass, any of the round fish other than fluke or flounder.
Right.
They're a little stiffer for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They give you the ability to cut into the flesh without bending, like with a flatfish knife.
A little more powerful, I guess.
A little stronger knife,
Right.
and like I said, gives you the ability to cut through some of the bones, especially around the belly cavity and the
Right.
rib cage, which really is important because blackfish and striped bass have the crossbones over the rib cage that you want to try to cut through,
Right.
and then later remove so that you don't waste any of the fish unnecessarily. And then you get into a steak knife, which is a larger variety knife like this one, and this is basically used for cutting the larger heads off of fish, like striped bass.
Or staking bass, staking
or
salmon, right.
staking striped bass. A lot of people like to eat fish with the bone, and basically a larger knife like this gives you the ability to cut through the bones. Also, you know, we need a good scraper. A lot of people today eat fish whole.
So you got to scale the fish,
You
right?
got to scale the fish and remove some of the fins, the tail and the dorsal fin. And so you need a decent pair of scissors for that also.
Right. Now, Artie, the first thing we're going to do is show the folks at home how to fillet a fluke two different ways, because fluke really is the most popular fish that people catch on their boats, right?
Absolutely, and you know, it's a shame with the limited number of fish that people are allowed to catch. If they don't fillet it properly, and so much waste goes into the garbage, they're really doing an injustice to themselves. So,
because if you're not cutting fish for 35 years like Artie, it may not be easy for the average person home to take an entire side off of a fish this size.
right.
So why don't you show the folks how we're going to take two fillets off one side, Artie?
Right. What we would do is make a cut across the fish behind the back of the head, down to the bone.
Mm-hmm.
Then we come down the lateral line, like this.
Right to the bone.
Right to the bone, right actually to the backbone, the center of the bone.
Yep.
And then we turn the fish around. Then come from the tail, sliding the knife along the bone, and we get one beautiful piece of fillet that we put in ice, water, and a little salt.
Mm-hmm.
Turn the fish around the other way. Slide the bone right over the backbone. And you got your second piece of fillet.
Beautiful. Artie, now we showed the folks how to take two fillets off of one side. Show them the professional way, what you do here in the South Shore Fish Market, of being able to take just one fillet off of one side.
Right. The procedure is somewhat similar in gliding down the bone of the
Right.
fish, the spine of the fish. You make a cut behind the back of the head. Slide this down along the bone. Come into the vertebrae. It's pretty much 4 different cuts, or 5.
Right.
And then you would, and that's pretty much it.
Again,
And that would give you one solid piece of fillet.
Right. Now, another way to prepare a fluke for the table is to prepare it whole. Now, remember, folks, we're in a commercial fish market. They have different size limits. These are 14, 15, and 16-inch fluke. I don't want to get a lot of hate mail. Don't be writing Artie a lot of hate mail that will kill all the baby fluke. This is legal. But first, let's show the folks at home, what do we got to do to prepare this whole for the table, Artie?
Well, at the first step, of course, would be to remove the scales. And get a good quality scale or something that's going to hold up. Go against the grain of the fish towards the head.
talking expensive equipment. A scale is a
$2 item.
Exactly.
You get the one side done. Get the other side done. And that's pretty much it. Give it a good rinse.
Right. And most people are going to prepare this, Artie, with the tail off, the fins off, and the head off, which is what most people like to see on the table. Let's show them how to do that.
Sure, you get a pair of shears, chicken shears or fish shears.
So your blackfish, crab shears, whatever you want to use. And now you have to cut the fins going against the lie of the fin so they'll stand up.
Against the lie of
right.
the fin, towards the head. And at that point,
Now we bring the steak knife in.
you bring the steak knife in. Again, you need a heavier knife to get through the backbone of the fish. You go behind the gill plate, cut through the vertebrae, turn the fish around, and pull.
And show them what just came out, Artie, because this really is the stomach, the gallbladder, all the
Right,
innards.
basically when you do it this way, rather than cutting from the stomach side, you're cutting from the back of the head. You get to pull the entrails out without disturbing any of the juices that are in there. One would be the gallbladder, one would be the other disadvantage would be to break the stomach
Lining,
cavity open, and all those juices would penetrate into the meat and give you an off taste. But you got the liver and
Everything's
stomach,
out.
intestines,
Right.
everything is out of the fish.
Now what?
And you open up the belly cavity. You can take your scraper, remove the little bit of roe that might be in there, or milk, and then scrape the blood sac, which lies up against the back of the upper backbone. Again, you can give it a rinse.
Rinse out the cavity, and now you have a fish that's prepared whole for the table, like most people would see it as one whole piece. Now you were saying when we were having coffee before, Artie, so many old timers would take even a fish like this and steak it as well, wouldn't it?
Right, even if it was a little bigger than this, and let's say it wouldn't fit into the frying pan, you can take it with the bone, and again, your heavy steak knife, and actually make slices in the fish. We call it steaking.
Right.
And you can, pretty much use your hand,
A block of wood.
a block of wood, or they do sell mallets and make pieces.
And this is
or
how you
steaks.
see halibut in the market. This really, if you turn it like this,
Right.
really is what a halibut
You
steak
can
looks like.
consider it a small halibut
That's
steak.
right. And that's how you prepare.
And then, at that point, they can be broiled, they can be floured, egg flour, breadcrumb fried, and it's a great way. Fish does have more flavor with the bone, so you have to fight the bone a little bit, but it's certainly a nice way to do it.
And that's the way to prepare it for the table.
Hey fishermen! For the most comprehensive reports and fishing information on the internet, log on to www.thefishingline.com. Thefishingline.com has fishing reports for boats, surf, freshwater, or party and charter boats for Long Island's tri-state area. Now you can listen to the Fishing Line radio show live on the web, Saturdays at 4 p.m. or see video clips of the TV show. Know where they are, not where they were, with thefishingline.com. What you need to know in fishing, it's www.thefishingline.com.
This is Ed's boat. It costs big bucks. Yeah. This is new Marine Formula Stay-Bill ethanol treatment. It costs a few bucks. When Ed fuels up, he doesn't add new Marine Formula Stay-Bill. Nah. Too bad, because the ethanol in his fuel caused engine deposits and corrosion. Now it won't start, and repairs are big bucks. Poor Ed. Marine Formula Stay-Bill would prevent that, with twice the corrosion protection, 4 times the cleaners. Now when you fill up and when you store, start with Stay-Bill.
Hey folks, you've been coming to the fishingline.com site for years for the only up-to-the-minute fishing reports on the web. Now get the same great reports 24 hours a day by telephone. That's right, the new Fishing Line report line is up and running, and best of all, it's free. No membership fees, no pay-by-the-minute fees that cost you nothing. A free phone call for the best updated reports 24 hours a day, all by phone. Call 516-977-2088, 516-977-2088.
Okay, so let's show the folks a round knife, and we'll show the folks how to cut a round of fish.
This is the round fish knife. got a little more bulk to it. It's less flexible. It's going to allow you to cut in through some of the bones that are going to be needed to cut through when you make your fillet. The right procedure is to cut behind the gill plate down to the backbone, enter into the stomach cavity, and then slide the knife down, not penetrating too deep. To the pectoral fin. That allows you to make a cut at the end of the intestines and also make a cut up in the head. And you want to be careful, again, not to break the gallbladder,
right.
the intestines. All of this is going to have a bad taste to your flesh if you break it and you let it enter into the fish while you're cleaning it. We'll turn the fish around. The most common way of doing it is to follow the dorsal line on your first cut, which would be to slide it down parallel with the vertebrae. One more cut will bring it to the backbone. Another cut over the backbone. As you sweep back, the reason we have the round knife is there's a crossbone at the rib cage that you want to cut through. And then you'll be able to slide the knife over the top of the ribs to get the maximum amount of meat out of it. A lot of people don't use the belly flap, they'll go over the top, but to be honest with you, in striped bass, the belly flap is where they hold the fat, and it has the most flavor. It's a little thinner, but it's excellent eating, even sashimi. The round fish knife went through the crossbone over the rib cage, so that has to be removed. Make a cut on the north side of it, cut on the south side of it, make a little skin at the head, and you can pull it right out. And that's what they call in many circles the V-bone or the crossbone.
But then when the skin comes off, there is a bloodline that some folks like to cut out too.
Right, this is actually the dark meat of the fish. Like a turkey has dark meat,
right.
Some fish have dark meat. Striped bass, bluefish. What we generally do here in the restaurant is to take a knife and fillet the dark meat off of it.
Which is a very, very thin cut.
Right, and you have to be very, very careful because you don't want to
cut into the flesh.
Cut into the flesh,
and you don't want to
cut into your fingers.
That's right.
And, you know, removing the skin, in my opinion, removing the dark meat, also in my opinion, removes some of the gaminess in the flavor that striped bass is known for.
Exactly.
So,
and then we have it. We have a finished product, filleted, skinned, V-notch, and
ready to eat.
Ready to eat.
Ready to cook and eat.
Another popular round fish, especially this time of year, December, blackfish. One of the toughest fish for me to catch, but one of my favorites to catch. And blackfishermen have like their own cult society. Right, Artie?
Yep, and they're not the easiest of fish to work with either when it comes to either cooking them whole or filleting, because they do have a pretty elaborate bone structure, and the scales on a blackfish are very small. So in order to cook a whole one, it takes a bit of an effort using the scraper to get all the scales off. Again, working towards the head, you can see the scales are very small, and actually
when you touch a blackfish, you don't even really feel them. It's almost like a slime, but you can see from the scale, there's a ton of scales on that fish.
Ton of scales, and once they're off, the skin becomes that white gray color, so you know you got them.
Now we're going to fillet this on.
Going to use the round fish knife, again, being a round fish, stiff blade, sharp. Again, come behind the gill plate, down to the belly cavity, and right till the anal opening. We can turn the fish over, do the same cut behind the gill plate, down to the vertebrae. And that's it. Now, come along the back, parallel with the dorsal fin. Letting the knife flow along the vertebrae. Get it to the backbone. This is the cross area, what they call of the rib cage, where the blackfish has a very strong bone structure. Again, the roundfish knife, you want to go through that.
And these difficult cuts you make going away from your body. You never cut into your body.
Right.
Especially, I learned that when I was a butcher many, many years ago. All right, so now let's move this out of the way on and show them these bones in here in the belly flap. The thing about blackfish, there's going to be a row of little stand-up, almost pin bones, that when you run your finger over, you can actually feel them from here, and they extend all the way back to almost where the anal fin is. That's almost how you can do it as a guide, right, Artie?
Absolutely. You can feel it, like you said, Rich, with your fingers. They're standing up.
So we're going to use a V-notch to cut those out, right?
Use a V-notch. Some people think they can use a tweezer on some of these fish, but it's a very, very, very difficult situation, being that the blackfish is such a firm flesh. Your best bet is to take your knife, feel with your finger where the rib crossbone is, or the V-bone, make a cut on the back side of it, make another cut on the stomach side of it, down to the skin. At that point, in the front, the head part of the fillet, just make a little cut to loosen it from the skin, and again, you can pull that pretty much all the way out. Blackfish is somewhat of a hard fish to work with, so you got to be careful too.
They're very slippery and they're always moving around. As you can see now, you have a V-notch cut out of the fillet, and this is exactly where that row of bones is. Now there's no more bones.
That's 100% bone free at this point.
Now, do you want to take the belly flap off of this, Artie?
Well, you know,
in the market you wouldn't, but at home somebody might want to.
Again,
it's flavorful though.
The belly flap of the belly area of most fish is where they store the fat. With fat comes flavor. For the most part, unless I happen to put my knife through it and mess it up with the cut, right, I would leave it on.
Now we're going to take the skin off.
It's a good piece of fish to eat. Again, go down to the skin without sawing through it. Get it started. Always skinning away from your body. Once you get it started, you have something to grab. You pull the skin and push the knife.
Now, on a wider fillet like a fluke or striped bass, you would go back to using your fillet knife,
or the skinning knife.
Skinning knife.
Right.
But here,
it's a smaller fillet.
It's a narrower fillet, so right, you can get away with using the bone knife, and we got a fillet ready for the table.
Yep. And blackfish, of course, is a great eating fish.
Yep.
But it's a hard fish to work with for the most part.
And there you have your V-notch, and that's what your final product should look like.
That's it.
You know, Artie, the folks at home are starting to learn that no matter what their ethnicity is, blackfish is a sweet, flavorful fish that lends itself to being steamed, poached, and actually cooked whole with the head on. You sell a lot of it like that, don't you?
Yes, we do. And to be honest with you, there's a lot more flavor when you cook the fish with the head on or with the bone in. Especially with the head on, doesn't allow the juices to run, natural juices to run out of the fish. And there's also an area in the head that, you know, holds a lot of meat. That's, you know, excellent eating.
So how are we going to prepare this whole for the table?
This one we're going to leave the head on. It's big enough to feed probably 2 people.
Right.
And basically we scaled it, completely scaled both sides.
Right.
You can leave the fins on if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Shows you where the bone structure of the fish is. And pretty much we're just going to gut it. And take your round fish knife, something that's got a little substance to the blade, make a cut under the gill plate, and then take your knife and go right down the middle of the fish, right to the anal fin. The belly cavity can open up. Remove the entrails, which is the stomach, and be careful not to break the gallbladder, not to break the stomach. And we also have to remove the gills. You can take your scraper, actually remove it from the back side, and it'll come out in one piece.
That's good. That's good. And then we have this flap up here along
Right,
this
that's
spine. That's the blood sac again.
That's the air bladder. I'm going to scrape that out. And pretty much the blood sac, which is along the vertebrae in the stomach area, we eliminate that. So now, give it a good rinse.
You want to make sure you get in there after you rinse and get all those little
Pieces of blood and pretty much everything. And that's ready to go in the whole fish. Generally, if you're cooking it whole too, and you're using any kind of seasoning, you may want to score the fish a little bit. And scoring is just breaking the skin with a knife, like that. This allows any basting liquid, oil and garlic, or whatever it is you're going to put on the fish to penetrate into the skin. Some people also would take some herbs, if you have herbs in your garden, rosemary, thyme, lay them in the belly cavity, close the flap, and you're good to go.
Now this is going to be steamed, poached, baked, however you want to prepare this
Absolutely.
whole.
But it can also be deep fried.
That's right.
And it's a great way to eat a fish.
Hey folks, you've been coming to the fishingline.com site for years for the only up-to-the-minute fishing reports on the web. Now get the same great reports 24 hours a day by telephone. That's right, the new Fishing Line report line is up and running, and best of all, it's free. No membership fees, no pay-by-the-minute fees that cost you nothing. A free phone call for the best updated reports 24 hours a day, all by phone. Call 516-977-2088, 516-977-2088.
Hey Surfcasters, would you like to learn the real secrets of the surf game? Well, now you can by fishing with licensed guide and TV host Rich Johnson of The Fishing Line. Whether a beginner or a surf rat, learn to read the beach, fish plugs, or bait, and all quality tackle is supplied free. Fish 1 or 2 people or get gift certificates. From Montauk to New York City, get consistency and quality in your fishing game by fishing with Rich Johnson of The Fishing Line. Call 516-889-6895. That's 516-889-6895 or thefishingline.com.
Hey fishermen! For the most comprehensive reports and fishing information on the internet, log on to www.thefishingline.com. Thefishingline.com has fishing reports for boats, surf, freshwater, or party and charter boats for Long Island's tri-state area. Now you can listen to the Fishing Line radio show live on the web, Saturdays at 4 p.m., or see video clips of the TV show. Know where they are, not where they were, with thefishingline.com. What you need to know in fishing, it's www.thefishingline.com.
So we're just scoring the fish where they can put their seasoning in here and they put it in the belly flop as well, right?
Absolutely, yep. And then you can either bake it in the oven, broil it, deep fry it.
Steaming and poaching is fantastic for blackfish. It's so sweet.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Artie, thanks for being a guest on the show.
My
We're showing you a lot of stuff. We learned a lot of stuff here. Artie, South Shore Fish Walk in Island Park. We showed you how to take care of your knives, how to choose the right knife for the job. Tools for any job you do in life is important. Make sure you got the right ones here. Don't be an idiot and cut your fingers off. You're working with sharp objects cut away from you all the time. And Artie, you did a great job. Thanks for showing us how to take care of a lot of different fish.
My pleasure, Rick.
Artie, always a pleasure. Come down here to South Shore Fish Walker. Watch your work behind the counter. Have a great meal down here as well. We're going to go enjoy a couple meals right now because we got to eat all this fish we clean today, right?
Yes, we do.
We'll see you folks here next week right here on the Fishing Line.
Thanks.
The Fishing Line with Rich Johnson was brought to you by Marine Formula Stable. To prevent the damaging effects of ethanol in your fuel tank, use Marine Formula Stable. And by the Long Island Power Authority. More choice, better service, LIPA. And by the Fishing Report Hotline. 24-hour fishing reports by phone when you need them.